We are on the cusp of version 4.0. We've known this for a while that we're getting closer. Come on now. It's almost the anniversary, which means that we're almost to, you know, the next set of installments. And we've gotten so much news about Fontaine that we probably have forgotten a little bit about the next set of banners. What am I talking about? Well, they did show the banner details for version 3.8 part 2. And of course, this is gonna be one of those tough ones to go through, because to be honest, I really don't know what to say. I've been sitting here pondering for a little bit and I really have no words. Maybe we could talk through it here. Well, we're going to be asking the question, should you summon on Kokomi and the Wanderer? Now, before we get into that, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. It helps out the algorithm a lot. And leave a comment. Would love to hear you guys' opinions on this. And hit that notification bell. Anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it. As you can see, we have this pulled up on Twitter, or who knows when you're watching this, it might turn into X now. We have the Kokomi banner details and of course the Wanderer. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's start out with the Pyro Catalyst user Yanfei. Now Yanfei I think is highly underrated. And the reason being is that around the time she released, we already had gotten Hu Tao, Yae Miko was on the way, and we had a bunch of really good DPSs in general, but I still feel that she can do a lot of damage. I actually saw my boy Anthony JMO, and he did some fantastic numbers with Yanfei when she first released that made me absolutely jealous, because I had built my Hu Tao like crap, and seeing Yanfei pull bigger numbers than me at the time, I was pretty upset. But I rebuilt my Hu Tao and we fixed that problem. But I digress. Yanfei has been a kind of sleeper agent in my opinion when it comes to Pyro DPSs. And I truly feel that she deserves a lot more credit than what she gets. Now, is she the best DPS? I would have to say no, obviously, you know, but her skill set is really good. And paired up with, you know, the likes of the Wanderer or Farazan, or even Rosaria in this banner, she can do a lot of really good damage. Let's go ahead and talk about Rosaria since we just mentioned her. Rosaria is mommy. Let's just be honest here. Rosaria is hot. Rosaria was actually the first Genshin girl outside of Ganyu that I was like, oh my god, she is stunning. And you know what's crazy? And this is just a random fact. Didn't even realize that she had short hair at the time. I thought honestly she had longer hair, but then when I took a closer look at her, I was like, wow, short hair. I dig it. I love short hair girls. Tomish boy girls and all that stuff, underrated. But we're not here to talk about, you know, that type of stuff. We're here to talk about how good she is. Now, Rosaria, I have a love-hate. I love her design, but her kit leaves a little bit for me to be desired. Now, that's just a personal taste. I think that she could do really well in certain teams, especially if you get her energy recharge up a little bit. She could do a lot of really good numbers. And of course, she works really well in freeze comp teams, but I have seen people build her as a physical. And I don't agree with it. I think that going to physical DPSs is a very bad move, looking at you, Eula. But I do feel that she could work really well with, you know, the Blizzard Strayer set, obviously, working in tandem with Kokomi, giving out that, you know, consistent freeze. And she does work with Yanfei as well, and could also work with the Wanderer, so there's multiple options for her. So it makes the most sense that she's there. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Farazan. And I feel like, in a sense, if you talk about Farazan, you have to talk about the Wanderer a little bit. And let's just talk about Farazan real quick. We'll give you a rundown. She is a Anemo support, which works great. And I think that she works really good with her C6. Sorry, I've been playing too much Honkai Star Rail. Her C6 works so good in tandem with Scaramouche as a DPS. And she works really well with her C6 in regards to other Anemo DPSs. You could say, you know, obviously Heizo is a great example. You could also reference Venti and Kazuha, even though Venti's more of a crowd control and Kazuha just shreds damage. You could even possibly say that Sucrose could benefit from Farazan. But I feel that with Farazan, and it's the same problem I had with Goro, you're very niche strats. That's what you're putting her in. You're putting her in an Anemo DPS team. because if you're putting her there, you have no other reason to run her outside of that team. And I really learned that when it came to companionship teams. Like, yes, she could get the swirl damage off with her burst, but I feel as though with her, I wasn't getting what I needed better than what I could get with Sucrose. And maybe that's blasphemy. Maybe people are probably going to think of me as a crazy person. Maybe it's because of how my Faruzan is built. But I truly felt that when it came to support roles outside of an Anemo-based team, I felt like Faruzan wasn't up to snuff. But she is definitely #1 pick for an Anemo-based team. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments down below. I'm more than happy to have those discussions, but that's just my personal opinion. Now, I could be just sleeping on her. I don't know if she's really that amazing. From my old guide, I didn't find a lot of use for her, but I feel that she does work great in tandem with the Wanderer. Not so much Kokomi, but you could still get Swirl off, and you could probably make it work really well. Speaking of Kokomi, let's go ahead and talk about our Flat Priestess here. Now, I make the joke about her being a cutting board because, you know, I have friends that really, really like her. Sorry, Fear. But outside of me joking, Kokomi is, in my opinion, the best healer out there. And it's not even close. If you could have somebody that's able to actually deal a decent amount of damage, not a lot of damage, and still heal you for a lot, you've got a great unit. Now, people are probably being like, but Tystra, she has negative crit rate. How could she do a lot of damage? Well, my Kokomi, the way I have her built, she's able to heal properly and heal quick, while also dealing 8,000 to 9,000 damage per hit in her burst. Now, that is pertaining to her burst. But when you're not in burst and you're not dealing that damage, you're obviously flipping around using her jellyfishy, which is perfect. I always default to Kokomi. Even though I love like Bailu, I think Baiju's a great shielder and healer. He does really, really good. Kokomi is my top. I have to say it. Kokomi has done so many things, have helped me through so much BS when it comes to, you know, like every hard piece of content. She's just there and she works so well. She's honestly one of the best units in the game. And I feel like she is heavily underrated when it comes to people. I know that a lot of people say that she's the best healer, but I truly feel that she deserves a lot more than just best healer. I think that she is just that damn good and that summonable. I think that she's more than worth the primos. Let's get into the Wanderer. Now, I like the Wanderer solely because of exploration. He's good. He can deal some damage. But I use him more for exploration than I do for actual DPS capabilities. I'll be honest. He's fun. He's got a very unique type of like kit, but I don't see him as a top tier DPS. I really don't. He's okay. He's okay. If you choose Wanderer to be your DPS, I won't fault you for it. He's okay. But again, it's the same reason why I don't pick Eula. I feel like it's like super, super niche. You're stuck to a certain type of team because with Wanderer, you basically have to pair him with a Faruzan. And if you have a C6 Faruzan, he can slap hard. Like, he can really slap hard. But I feel like you're too restricted with Wanderer. At least with Kokomi, you could run her as the healer. You could run her as maybe a sub DPS, but you'd mainly be running her as an applicator and a healer. With Wanderer, you're stuck being the Anemo DPS, and you have to make sure that either A, you have good elemental reactions that stay on the field for a long period of time that work with Anemo, which is 95% of them, except for Geo and, you know, Geo, Anemo, and Dendro. Or you have to pair him with a Faruzan to get that shredding damage. That I feel that instead of going for a C6 Faruzan and a C0 and above, you know, Wanderer, you might as well just go for, or you should have gone for, the C1 of Kazuma. So to me, Wanderer, not that great. And he hasn't aged, but he hasn't gotten better. So the question on everybody's mind, should you summon? I will say, Wanderer here gets a good boost from this banner. Mainly because of Fadozan. I feel like every time he gets put into a banner, you have to pair him with Fadozan, because otherwise people are going to be pissed off. They're going to be like, oh, well, he doesn't hit. Well, I mean, you can pair him with Fadozan and he'll do just fine. Rosaria is a good choice because of her burst being a long-standing burst, and that could work for Wanderer. And Yanfei could help out with some application of Pyro, but I feel like you would struggle between picking Wanderer or Yanfei. So should you summon for the Wanderer? No. If you're gonna summon on Kokomi. Kokomi is so damn good. I honestly would put her with, it would be tough for me to say, but I would possibly put her in my top 5 to 10 units in the game. And I think that everybody should. She's just that good. I feel that she is definitely a must summon. But with the circumstances of Fontaine being around the corner, it's tough for me to fully say that you should waste your primos. It's really tough. I love Kokomi. I think she's a great unit. But for me personally, I'm not going to summon on her to pull another one because I have other characters in line. But if you've been waiting for Kokomi and you summon on Kokomi, I really don't blame you. It's the same thing with Kazuha. Like, she's just that good. She's that amazing. And I would say yay to summoning for her. Overall, this banner is a really, really good banner for her as well, with the possible Pyro application with Vaporize, the possible, Cryo application for, Freeze. And then, of course, with Fadozan, you could use her to help with swirl damage in regards to, Hydro. So it just works out. If I had to choose between the two banners, Kokomi is definitely the one to go to. Don't summon on Wanderer. Don't summon on Wanderer. Wait until possibly another Animo helper or somebody that will work really, really well with the Wanderer, and I think it'll be fine. Summon for Kokomi. Kokomi is definitely worth the primos every single time. Now, y'all, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments down below. Would love to hear y'all's opinion about this. Of course, like, comment, subscribe. Would love, love, love to hit that algorithm. Guys, you all have been so fantastic on the channel. I am absolutely loving all the love and support from y'all, especially with the recent videos. We do have some bigger videos coming out this week and maybe next week. I won't go into too much detail just yet, but we do have some stuff planned. But anyways, y'all, that's going to be it. Love you all to death. And as always, we will catch you all in the next video. Please take care and be safe.